Hey guys, it's Team Craig guys. I'm here, and we've got a deck profile for Xaviers Scharhrot Dark Irregulars deck that just took second place in the ARG States. So get right to it, Xavier.
Well, this isn't the exact build from ARG States. Placed second in ARG States with Dark Irregulars before Set 8 came out. I'm just going to get right to it with the starter. I'm running Rafael Ordonez as a starter now. I was running Greedy Hand to get Enigmatic Assassin in the Soul, but I found better ways to be able to do it. His skill is really good. GB1, just combo spawn, pop into the Soul, Soul charge 2. If you have 6 or more in Soul, you draw, which you should always have if you're on Scharhrot. If not, you can kind of just manipulate your plays to get up to that 6 Soul. After that, I run 2 Enigmatic Assassin. So it's just the combo kill a card with your Stride, Gilderai, or it can set up some really good columns with like Doppel or Demented Executioner because they just get really big. And you can have extra attacks with this card. So this card just becomes a 20k booster in Darkness at 15 or more in Soul, which is just insanely good. After that, we're going to get into the main grade 3 lineup, running 4 Scharhrot Vampire. Skill on when you stride over him, counterblast 1, soul charge 2. When your Vanguard swings, if you have 6 or more in soul, your opponent has to choose a rear guard and blow it up. And then his GB2 is, if you have 6 or more in soul, he gets plus 10k. If you have 10 or more in soul, he gets a crit on top of that, so really good. The backup grade 3 in this deck is Bladewing Sullivan. Pretty much just to stop the deck out problem, but against certain matchups like Dimension Police, like the Dimensional Robo matchup, he's really good to be on. Also, if you're going against like decks that just have like 2 or 3 big attacks and then they're done, or like even restanding Vanguards, Sullivan's not too bad to be on. And the Stride Bladewing Tipple lets you refresh your deck back, so it's pretty good. Getting into grade 2s, run 3 Demented Executioner. I was running 4. The card's really good, don't get me wrong. The problem with running 4 is that I feel like when you have to ride him, it's a minus only because his skill only works on rearguard placement. However, it's still pretty good. His skill is when he's placed on rearguard, you check top 7 cards for 1 card with Darkness, and you put it in Soul. That's really good in itself because you use it to search out an Enigmatic Assassin and you use it to search out the Perfect Guard, and then you just kind of go off by those 2 selected soul charges. His second skill is actually a completely underrated skill. It's Counterblast 1 if you're in Darkness. If you have 6 or more in Soul, you get plus 2,000, and then if you're at 10 or more in Soul, you get plus 5,000 total. So what I do on like a finishing turn with Gilderai, I'll put him on rearguard circle without a booster, and I'll counterblast 1 for Darkness, make him a 14k, and then have him swing at an intercept. So your opponent either has to choose to drop 2 5ks to guard it, or just let their intercept die, which 5k shield against Gilderai is a lot more detrimental than you think. Next grade 2 I run is 3 Doppel Vampire. I just think a 3 is a really good number for him. Running him at 4 is kind of pointless because he's a dead soul charge when placed on the rear guard. However, he gets really big, and he's Silent Tom at 15 or more in Soul and when Darkness is active. And he's always a 14k attack as long as he has 6 or more in Soul and Darkness is active, so that's really good. Third grade 2 we run is Flying Librarian at 3. Mainly because she's probably the fastest soul charging engine in the deck in terms of grade 2s. On rearguard placement, you counterblast 1, soul charge 2. You have 6 or more in soul, you draw. Then if you have 10 or more in soul, you countercharge that counterblast that you just used. So it's really good. It gets up that sweet number. The only problem with it is it's an 8k, but as I said before, if it was any higher than an 8k, everyone would run it at 4 because that'd just be way too good. It's still really good as itself, but you know. Last grade 2, it's kind of a tech end right now. I'm playing 2 Emblem Master just because if your opponent sees you ride him or put him on rear guard and he's there swinging your Vanguard, your opponent's probably going to block him, which is really good for later game. It baits out that early guard. Honestly, I don't need him to hit to get anywhere near 15 soul. It's just, if your opponent lets him hit, you get to play the game faster. And if you make it so there is no late game, then Gilderai is actually a lot more scary when they let this hit, because you get that 15 soul mark really quick, and your opponent's just not generally prepared for Gil that early. Because if you G-guard, you can first stride Gil if this hits, which I've done before. It's just a really scary play. So that's it for grade 2s. Going into grade 1s, this is probably the best grade 1 in the deck. I run 3 combos Vampire. Its skill is on rearguard at GB1. You rest it, you soul charge 1, then if you have 6 or more in soul, you choose one of your units and give it plus 5k. So generally you're going to give it to your big scary Vanguard, Gilderai, or if you want, you could give this 5k to a rearguard on a non-Gil turn, or if you want to give it to Doppel for that Tom Guard restrict, if you know they only have zeros, that's really good too. This complements really well with the Darkness Perfect Guard, which is Succubus of Avarice. I play it at 4. So, Succubus of Avarice's skill, of course, it's a regular Sentinel, Sentinel G, so it can only Perfect Guard the Vanguard. But however, its second skill activates from the soul. It's Darkness. You kill off a grade 1 or less rearguard, and then you add it to your hand from the soul. So what I do is I rest Combust, soul charge 1, give plus 5 to something, and then I'll kill off the rested Combust and add Succubus of Avarice to hand, because it's done its job already. So that's just a really good combo there. And that's kind of why you want to search out Succubus of Avarice for a Demonted Executioner. And also, this is probably the best ride in the deck right now, because you don't want to really have perfect guards in your hand early, so this kind of just lets you get to grade 1 for free, and then later on you can just get it back. After that, we're running 4 stride fodder, because it's a G deck, your strides are broken, and if you can't stride, you're probably not winning. After that, I dropped Serpent Charmer down to 2, only because he's a really good card, don't get me wrong, but he's a dead soul charge when you draw him. The way Dark Irregulars work, at least for me, is that if you can guarantee yourself the high soul, you're not stressing about a win con. From then on, you're just more worried about things like decking out, which you control with Sullivan and this card. So pretty much, if you have a lot of triggers in soul, you want to set up for like a guild turn or just like a final push turn, you call this guy, get all your triggers back, or even get your Sullivans back just to make sure you're not going to deck out, and he kind of just sets up for late game. So from there, we're just going to go in the trigger lineup. I run 4 stand, Monochrome of Nightmare Land. I've tried a lot of different lineups. I've tried 12 crit, I've tried 2 stand, 2 draw. I just think that in this build, at least, the 4 stand is probably the best, only because the rear guards actually hit harder now. And this guy lets you counter charge, especially since we're not running the Perfect Guard G that on flips. Monochrome's a kind of a necessity at 4. He also is a card that activates Darkness. So Darkness has almost become a restriction because we need to make sure that we are always able to soul charge 1. After that, we're going to run 8 crit, 4 Scharhrot crit, and then 4 Dark Knight of Nightmare Land. Dark Knight Nightmare Land's really good. He activates Darkness during the main phase, and then this card gives plus 5 to your Vanguard if you're on Scharhrot or if you're on the Stride. So it's just really good. Also 8 crit in a deck where you have a guy with guard restricts is just really insane. After that you run 4 heal because you need 4 heals, especially in a deck with really good G-guards. From there, move on to the strides. We're running 2 of the new guy, 1 Stevenson Scharhrot. This guy is amazing. How he works is GB2 Darkness, counter boss 1, suck up all your rear guards, then he gets plus 10k. If you have 10 or more cards in soul, you blow up your opponent's board. Then if you have 15 or more cards in soul after that, your opponent can't guard with Sentinels. So pretty much this card's really good for just field control. It's really good against Aqua Force, Tachikaze. Really good against Link Joker because you just suck up all your rear guards and they have nothing to lock. It's just a really good card. It's very situational though. I see myself going into it against certain matchups, but it's still a really good card. You definitely want to play it because it has guard restrict and it's field wipe. After that, running 4 Gilderoy. It's the win con of the deck. You definitely need to run 4. Because this is 90% of the time this is how your games are ending with this stride. Because most of the time it's swinging 56 plus with guard restrict and a crit. So if you're not hitting the crit to win, your opponent's already at 4 damage. After that, running 1 Ericus. I had to drop him down because of the new stride, but this guy's still really good because he becomes a Mon, he soul charges 2 in Darkness on swing, and he retires on hit, so that's always good. We play 1 Frederick. He's become a little bit more useful now, especially since I don't play Free Traveler anymore. I can put that Nomadic Assassin for my hand and soul. Also, he gets my rear guards really big, so the Demented Executioners, the Doppels, they get really big. As well as himself, he gets really big. He becomes a Mon, so that's really good. After that, I play 1 Left Hibiscus Lyra. I've considered playing 2, because she's like probably the best stride that you have from behind. On hit, you soul charge 2, and if you have 6 or more in soul after that, you draw. It's just really good because in general, soul charging 2 and draw is really good, and your opponent most likely PGs this, so that's a good bait for a PG. If you have a Doppel on the field and you plan to like guard trick with Doppel later, because most of the time what stops Doppel are G guards or PGs. Also, this card's really good for baiting G guards early. If your opponent G guards early, they're not going to have anything to guard Gil. After that, we run 2 Bladewing Tibble, just for the deck out problem most of the time, and he's actually a good finishing stride when you are on Sullivan and you have 15 or more in soul when you stride onto him, because if you have 15 in soul when you stride onto him, he continuously gives you rear guards plus 10k. So how I would do it is have like a Doppel here, Demonted here, or Doppel here, whatever here, just be like 24, attack, stand trigger, attack here, guard restrict, pop an automatic assassin 30. It gets insane. After that, run to the G guards. Play 2 Agrat Bat Millet, because on G guard you have a plus 2 soul, and then 6 or more in soul after that you get plus 5 shield, which is just really good. After Agrat Bat, run 2 Saint Germain. This card is amazing against the Dimensional Robo matchup. Pretty much, if you have 10 or more in soul, he becomes a 25k shield, which is pretty free. After that, if you have 15 or more in soul when you block with him, he gives everything resist. That includes your Guardian Circle. So when the Dimensional Robo matchup, when they break Ride and Legion, and they're all like, oh, by the way, if I check a 3, I break 2 shields. You just guard, G-guard with this, and you're like, okay, my Guardians have resist. You can't do anything. So that matchup, they lose to this pretty much, if you're just smart enough just to save it up. After that, run 1 Sea Breeze, because Gradelock, and it's a GB deck, so Sea Breeze helps a lot. There are cards that I've added in to make it not so GB reliant. Emblem Master, Demonted Executioner is actually not GB. It's just all around balanced deck. This deck's pretty quick, and it's become a lot more tactical. But yeah, if you guys have any questions on like text and stuff, I've definitely tried out everything that I can with this deck, and if you guys just want opinions on how it worked out for me, not saying that it won't work out for you if it didn't work out for me, there are different players out there, just put it in the comments below. I know this was a deck that people were anticipating after the new support came out, so